What's up, everyone? Living to learn. Really appreciate you watching this video. Those of you that are tuned in. Some of you have been keeping up with my channel for some time. Some of you are new. To everybody that's watching and to everyone that's watched, I just want to say thank you. Again, like I've said several times before, if nobody's listening, then I'm just making these things for myself, right? I don't necessarily want to just sit back and watch myself or hear myself speak. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen in. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please do so, because that's very helpful. It's very supportive of me. Everything that I'm intending to do with this channel, everything that I'm aspiring to be, and this being one of my main outlets. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. Please comment. One thing that I haven't seen a lot of is suggestions. And so you don't have to make any, but I'm welcoming them. As far as future videos, if there's something you want me to touch on, if you want to know my opinion on something, if you want me to share my best advice or best practices on something, that's what the comments is for, right? So comment section, type it up. Hey, this is what I want to hear about. Love to know what you think about this, or this is what I think is important or whatnot. Again, it's open. This is a space that is welcome to all. There is no judgment here. There's not a particular, theme other than just trying to help people out, right? Maybe just help people navigate through some things that otherwise they wouldn't have, maybe been in the dark a little bit, right? I mean, like I've said, I've always had people around me for wisdom and guidance. Not everyone has that. Some people are walking through this life with very little light, very little guidance, and it can get tricky, right? Life is tricky. Things happen, things come upon us, things affect us mentally, physically, and changes the whole scope of our outlook, changes our paradigm, changes how we see things. And so that's what this is about. Really, what I'm hoping to do is provide content, provide information that's going to be helpful to others. And these are some of the things that have been helpful to me along my journey, which I am still very much along. And I think that this is a journey that's going to continue, right? Before I go on, before I get into what I want to talk about in this video, I do want to remind you, you also have the opportunity to donate financially to this channel. That is something that is helpful, not mandatory, but this is something I try to do weekly, right? On my social media at Live to Learn Coaching on Instagram. I try to put something together every single day. Just, my job is to keep things going, right? Put out as much as I can. And so, that takes time and effort. So donations are greatly appreciated. But again, it's not necessary. Just you watching, just you commenting, just you sharing, and especially you subscribing. It means a whole lot. So, but speaking of the journey, right? I'm very much still on this journey. This is not a person. You're not hearing a person that's arrived. I don't know what arrival looks like. I don't know what that's going to be, because I think that regardless of how old we are, what stage we are in our life, there's always going to be something else to learn, something else to overcome, something else to get past, something else to grow out of or grow into, right? And I think it's important to look at life like that, because it gives you an opportunity to really sit back and reflect and say, okay, where am I at right now? Where am I at? What am I doing right now? What's going on right now? Do I have my finger on the pulse, as they say? Do I know what's happening within me? Am I sidetracked? Have I become numb to certain things? Have I fallen into a routine that's just kind of an autopilot, reaction, right? And again, for some of us, that sounds, fairly comfortable. Sounds like a good place to be. And I'm not saying it isn't. But if you're like myself, and you know that there's more out there, you know that you can attain more, you know that you can expect more from yourself, that's something that you want to be aware of. And you have to remember, each and every one of us is an individual. They talk about the And I say they, and I'm thinking of just like multiple articles and things that I've seen online addressing these subjects. So no particular they, but you'll hear people talk about how we are each have a unique fingerprint, right? Just the uniqueness of us being human, a unique fingerprint. Everybody has, a fingerprint that's different than anyone else's, right? The distinction, our uniqueness. And I want to I want to touch on that in this video, because I think it's important for us to remember. Because here's the thing, like an outside influence, like someone like myself, right? As a life coach, let's say I'm coaching you and we're talking. I'm coming with my best intentions to the table, right? I want to see you win. I want to see you get better. I want to see you successful. I want to see you out of your rut. I want to see you in a better state of mind, whatever we're trying to get at, right? I'm here helping you. Okay. And I'm sitting here, I'm listening, and I'm coming with, my best advice. Hey, this is my interpretation of what you're going through right now. I'm an outside voice. I'm an outside set of eyes that's looking into your situation. And this is my advice, and 1, 2, 3, or whatever the plan's going to be. And that's fine. I mean, that's what I'm here for. However, when it's all said and done, that is my approach. That is my perspective. Now, it's a perspective that's coming from a good place. It's a perspective that has a lot of good intention behind it. But I can never be you. So as much as I try, I cannot see things through your eyes. That in itself, that is your uniqueness. That is your identity. That's just for you and you alone. And so these are things that we have to remember as we go through this journey, as we continue through life. We can get a lot of help. We can seek outside information, and I highly advise that. Right, reading, learning. I've touched on that. I think the last couple of videos, talking about taking initiative, talking about learning, right, writing things down, recording things, taking note of your thoughts, of your ideas. Some of us have some brilliant ideas. Some of you guys have some amazing ideas, and you do. Some of you guys are thinkers. Some of the people watching this right now can come up with things quickly that it would take other people a long time to come up with, right? Some of you can pick up things faster than the next person. And my thing is this, like, hey, do not discredit those things. And maybe you're discrediting those things because they don't play such a huge part in your life, right? Like they're not earning you any money, or they're not directly affecting your income, right? Maybe you're like, well, this is what I do for work, so this has nothing to do with it. That could be the case, but don't ignore that. Don't ignore the uniqueness of you. Don't ignore your specific identity, your fingerprint that no one else can bring to the table. That your life coach, with his best or her best intentions, cannot possibly, insert themselves within you. Like I can't be you. And so think about it, right? So right now I'm in a certain season. I'm in a particular season of my life. I'm on a particular path in my journey, right? And there's a few things I have to remind myself. Number one, I have to remind myself that my thoughts are going to run rampant. Right? My thoughts are going to run rampant. If I'm in a bad mood, if I'm waking up in a bad place, if I'm stressed, if I'm thinking about things, then that's going to start to affect me. It's going to start to affect my thoughts. And my thoughts are going to want to automatically, because it's easier. Again, I've touched on this the last couple of videos. It's easier for me to go to the negative than it is to the positive. What is that all about? Well, remember, again, scientifically, studies have shown that we have these survival instincts that will initiate fear, anytime you're changing or you're trying to go a different direction. And that's because your mind is your body's, your biology, at our most raw, like human state it's your mind is there to keep you safe, right? It's like, you got to be safe. You got to be okay. So there's all these unmerited fears that will grab hold of your thoughts, right? And they grab hold of my thoughts. They want to go 10 different directions. So I have to remember those things. I have to remember, like, hey, you know what? During this time, especially if it's a trying time, this is where it really gets difficult. Your thoughts are going to want to run rampant, right? So you have to know, number one, there's certain things I can't take. I got to take it with a grain of salt. It's kind of funny, right? Because it's like, well, why would I lie to myself? Well, because with you, there's two of you, right? There's you that's like, hey, I know I want to go this direction. I know I consciously want to move forward and I want to do this and I want to make changes. And then there's the natural you, there's the instinctual side that's just saying, like, I don't care what you want to do. You need to not get killed or you need to not die, right? So you've got these two sides and they're just like butting heads. So when those negative thoughts start to take hold and they start to run away, they want to take you away with them. You kind of have to discount that. Like, hey, you know what? I'll take that with a grain of salt. Yes, this isn't looking very promising. Sure, I can admit that. But that's right now. Things can change in a moment. We know that. We know that, right? We see those people all the time that win the lottery, that win the Mega Millions. Does it matter what they made before that? Does it matter what their financial net worth was before they won? Doesn't matter anymore. That one moment, now it's a whole different ball game. And such is life. Tomorrow could look completely different than today. Today you're thinking this way about yourself. Today you're feeling this way about yourself. All of a sudden, preparation meets opportunity, and you get lucky. And now it's different, just like that. So keep that in mind. The other thing I have to keep in mind is this. This is a season. You ever apply for a seasonal position? I used to work at this call center. It was a seasonal job. You started at the end of October and you worked through like the week before Christmas. Okay? It was fun. You know, it was actually pretty cool. I met some really cool people while I was there. But I knew once it got to this date, that was it. Right? You're going to work from this date to this date. And then that's it. So coming in here day to day, doing this customer service, jumping on these calls, fixing these orders, whatever it was. Yes, you're doing that. And right now you're doing it. Right now you're in it. Right now you're problem solving. Right now you're doing this, and that. But as soon as this date comes, you no longer are going to be doing that. You will no longer be coming here to work. That is what's going on with all of us. This is a season, okay? Whether it be good or whether it be bad. Now, if it's good, don't spend your time worried about and getting stressed about when is it going to become bad. And if it's bad, don't spend too much energy wishing and sulking that you were not in it. Remember, the energy is going to go, it's going to go somewhere. So we might as well put it towards something that's going to be helpful to us. So for me, I have to remind myself, like, what are the things that I can learn during this time? If it's difficult, if it's trying, if it's uncomfortable, what can I be learning right now? Okay. So I got to take my thoughts with a grain of salt, and I've got to remember that this is just a season, right? Seasons come and go. It doesn't stay fall all year long. It's not winter all year long. Okay, Southern California, you can make a good argument that it might be summer all year long, right? I mean, we just got it like that. We got the best weather in the world, or at least in the U.S. But technically, no, it cannot be summer all year long either, right? The other thing I got to remind myself, right, and this is really, again, this is about you and about where you're at and about your development, okay? But I'm sharing with you the things that I have to deal with that are going to help me progress. Okay, as I'm sifting through these things, right? As I'm very much alive and well and feeling everything that comes with this season, everything that this season is bringing to me. Okay. The other thing I got to remember is that this is part of my story. This is my story. This is the story. This is the movie. It's unfolding every moment. This is a part of my legacy. This is a part of what will be remembered, right? Because I have an end date. Life is seasonal. Speaking of seasonal, right? I was born in 81. I don't know what's on the other side of that dash, right? 1981 dash. I don't know that other number. I wonder if it would change if I did know. I wonder what would change if I did know when. You ever think about that? If you knew when you were gonna go, what would change? You know, they ask those questions all the time, and then we just get arrested, right? I don't mean like arrested by the cops. I mean like your heart, your soul, your emotions are seized. When you think of things like that, you think, oh my gosh, what would I do different if I knew when I was gonna go? Well, guess what? You don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is every single day that I'm alive, it's my story being written. It's my movie script being written. Take a moment and just be fascinated by that. See, here's the problem with our busy, economic, money-driven, media, social media-driven lives. This is the problem with it. We live in a great country, we live in a great place, but we have so much going on. It's hard, it's a chore for us to slow down and reflect and say, man, this is my movie being written. This is the book being written about me right now, every single day. Not literally a book. Okay, I do plan on intentionally writing a book. Shout out to my dad. Because I know he's gonna keep me accountable to that. I already told him I was writing, and he's like, okay, And shout out to the people that I've met that have written books. Huge salute, because it's not easy. But I'm not talking literally. I'm saying this is your story being written out. It's being written every single moment. So take a moment and just appreciate it. Just admire it. Hey, I made it this far. Because you know what? There was people that were born the same year as me that are no longer here. They no longer exist. They're gone. I'm still here. You're still here. So it's being written. And it's in real time, and it's fast, and time flies, and things go by, and the days just fly by. But I have to remember, listen, this is the story. And like you've heard it said in many places, don't forget to appreciate the journey. The journey is where it's at. The unfolding, the trail, as the path, whatever. That's the richness. That's the good stuff. To see, wow, this is where I've come from. This is where I'm at. And then, of course, this is where I'm going. So don't forget. We can't forget. Okay? You're unique. You are you. And you need to continue to be you. And you need to understand that what you offer is something no one else can offer because they're not you. And I think that's one of the things that fascinates me about this coaching aspiration is that I look forward to working with multiple types of individuals, people from all different backgrounds. And I get to help them identify certain things. And guess what else? I get to learn from them. Because I tell you what, I don't care who you are, what you think you know or don't know, you can teach me something. And you can teach everyone something. We all have something to offer. We all have something to give. So that's another thing you got to remember. Okay? So coming from myself, from me to you, personally, I've got to take my thoughts with a grain of salt. Because they're going to tell me all kinds of nonsense that's just not true. My survival instincts kick in, and all of a sudden my mind wants to go negative. That's just the way it goes for me. That's just the way it's going to go for you. So be aware of that. Okay? The second thing, remember, this is just a season. Seasons come and go. It might rain for 3 days straight, but on the fourth day, there'll be sunshine. Right? And that's kind of just a funny, quick little, metaphor, but you get what I'm saying. Don't forget that. The other thing too, the third thing is appreciate the journey. Appreciate the fact that your story, your movie is being written every single moment that you were alive. Don't take that for granted. Take it serious. Take yourself serious. Your life, your existence, your presence, your influence is very serious. And I hope you understand that. And I hope this channel will help encourage you to go to that place where you actually believe it. Anyway, that's all I got today. I hope you've had I hope it's a great week for you. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. It means a lot. Don't forget to subscribe. Donate if you feel like that's something you want to do. You don't have to. But please follow me on Instagram. And if you're interested in coaching, or if you'd like to find out a little bit more about what I would be able to offer you, send me a direct message on Instagram. We can go from there. All right? You have a great one.